Guys, Marsingin here, bringing you Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so it seems today we have received a hint on the official Dokkan battle social media for who the upcoming Dokkan festival unit is going to be. We are expecting to see this sometime next week as we close out October. It's actually very possible with the hint posted today, we may actually get to see details by the end of the weekend, with then the unit coming out within the first couple of days of next week. Now, the interesting thing about this is I missed when this was specifically posted, because as often happens sometimes now with Dokkan, I'm posting things like the producer letter or these other random sort of things that seem to come up unannounced. This was not posted at the usual time that news gets posted, right? This was posted at 11 AM UK time. Normally when we get news for events upcoming in game or things like you know, Twitter details of EZAs and stuff like that, that normally comes out at 9 AM. So this is a full 2 hours after that for some reason. But anyway, this is the hint. So as you can see, we just have a bunch of black images, like silhouettes of people stood in a crowd with red eyes. So this is, I think, one of those hints that we've seen some ones in the past that were a little bit confusing and a little bit, you know, open to interpretation in terms of what they could be a hint for. Some to the point that were just so I'm trying to think of the right word, but so like unclear, obtuse, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, that it was just really hard to tell. Whereas this immediately brings to mind a couple of different options from looking at it, and we've had a couple of them picked out in the chat. Like, it's kind of one of those things when you know a lot of people instantly jump on the same conclusion that that was potentially what they were going for. So obviously we got some trolling from the Menace, mega nice as always, but you can see here we got a couple of the options. So the baby possession is definitely a big one, right? We talk about the baby Dokkan Fest coming at some point, and we've been going on about it for years. And then, yeah, the first thing I sort of thought of before I looked at the red eyes was all of the metal coolers. And there's some other screenshots here, like you can see, right? As people get possessed by the Tuffles all across the earth during that first, well, I say first arc, but like the baby arc for GT, you can see here the crowds of people all with the red eyes. Metal Cooler obviously doesn't have red eyes, so I'm not sure whether this hint either leans more towards, I guess it depends which one you want to focus on, right? The red eyes makes it lean more towards it being like baby, and the banner unit could potentially be like the possessed Saiyans. I think that would be a cool banner unit if it was like Trunks, Goten and Gohan all together with the possessed Tuffles, and then they could do the awakenings for those free-to-play characters where they have their own singular versions. But then obviously the image, whilst it's just a bunch of black silhouettes in a crowd, obviously they are all identical in this image, right? Each of the like silhouette characters. So that is one of the things that made me, when I first saw it, instantly think of Metal Cooler, and then obviously the red eyes leans more towards the baby and the possessed Tuffles kind of thing. I don't know if there's any other things we'll see in here that are more likely. Obviously manga only Zamasu clones thing would be funny, but obviously we know that Dokkan doesn't do manga only stuff. But as you can see, like most people in the comments, it's just like Cooler, Metal Cooler or baby, right? Shadow Dragons, I'm not really sure how that fits in. Not only is there more than 5 of them, they don't have like humanoid silhouettes and they don't have red eyes. Cooler does of course have solid red eyes, the final form Cooler, but I think that is a little bit unlikely. But yeah, basically all of, I guess Cooler does actually have the red, like his like irises are red, like his pupils or whatever are red, even though his eyes aren't fully. So yeah, basically everybody Metal Cooler. I don't think we're not going to see another Rosé clones thing, but there you go. There's another like screenshot of all the random like humans possessed by Tuffles, Garlic Junior and crew. Not really sure what they have to do with the red eyes, but yeah, baby and the Tuffles. Obviously, this is a big thing. People have wanted a baby Dokkan Fest for years and years. I did a video yesterday talking about the various possibilities for a target Goku Dokkan Festival character. and we went over some of the possible options for that. And of course, two of the people that we mentioned in that video, obviously Metal Coolers and the babies, are all on the target Goku category. So that is kind of lining up quite nicely with the prediction that we've been making since that mission was added for the final stage of the Pure Saiyan Red Zone to take on the Dragon Ball Super Broly with a target Goku. Well, it's not even a full target Goku team, it's 3 target Goku characters. But this could certainly make for an interesting set of releases, right? Because like Super Baby 2 is the one we currently have. Well, the only one that we have is like an LR, and then there's that int one that got the Easy A, is Super Baby 2 brackets Giant Ape. So we don't actually have, like, the only standalone actual Super Baby 2 is the unawakened version of the int one, is just called Super Baby 2, because he doesn't have the Giant Ape transformation. So the thing that I could potentially expect to see, I think, would be something along the lines of either a baby Vegeta that starts off as this sort of like the base Vegeta with the white hair that transforms into Super Baby 1 and then potentially even Super Baby 2, or it just starts off as Super Baby 1 and transforms into Super Baby 2. He could have an active skill attack that has the Giant Ape thing in it, which could then potentially get him onto the Giant Ape power category, but like rather than it being a rage mode like transformation kind of thing, like a normal Giant Ape thing, it could just be in the active skill attack, because then he would have a unique name without having the brackets Golden Great Ape as part of it. Now the thing is, when it comes to target Goku, I do not believe, do they add all the other Tuffle like possessed characters? They do not. So it is still only Baby that is actually in the category, because the thing is, when it comes to a Baby Dokkan Fest and trying to incorporate all of the Tuffle possessed Saiyans, right? If they were going to awaken the free-to-play units, if they were going to do the banner unit as like a Tuffle possessed Saiyans, they would need to be part of his leader skill, I think, would need to be Corroded Body and Mind. Because if we take a look at the Corroded Body and Mind category, we can find these guys on here. In terms of like their categories, they have Hybrid Saiyans, obviously, like Terrifying Conquerors, I guess they are all on. So they're on mission execution as well, which is interesting, because I guess they are then given the mission from Baby, even though he doesn't have it himself. So that's kind of interesting. But in order to be on like his full leader skill, his leader skill would have to be some combination of having Terrifying Conquerors and Corroded Body and Mind, because of course all the Tuffle possessed Saiyans don't count as GT bosses because they're just minions. So the only categories they actually share with Baby is Terrifying Conquerors and Corroded Body and Mind. So I think the best way for that to work obviously would be for Terrifying Conquerors to be one of Baby's 170 leads, because that is the kind of lead we would want a new big Extreme Dokkan Fest to have. And then one of his plus 50% could be Corroded Body and Mind, but obviously ideally he would then have something else, right, like Inhuman Deeds, Revenge, Space Traveling Warriors, like those kind of things, for balancing out the other extreme characters on the team. Someone did come up with a leader skill ages ago on stream when we were talking about a Dokkan Fest Baby that like perfectly combines a bunch of extreme units with being able to fit all the Tuffle possessed units on it, and I think it is something like that. You have like Terrifying Conquerors, you could have Artificial Life Forms, and then like Inhuman Deeds or Space Traveling Warriors, and then have the plus 50% be Corroded Body and Mind, like final trump card, or Transformation Boost, because Transformation Boost is a big one that a lot of these characters have, and then that gives a lot of extreme units a full 220 lead under a Dokkan Fest Baby. So I think this is, if I had to pick out of the two, I feel like the red eyes makes it more of a giveaway for Baby. But when it comes to the Metal Cooler option as well, I do think this could be something very interesting. I mentioned this yesterday in the Target Goku Dokkan Fest video, that like they could have a couple of different interesting options for making a new Metal Cooler. Whether they just make it a new version of the Metal Cooler Army so that he has a unique name, or they make it a reversible exchange between like two Metal Cooler clones. Because ideally we want the unit to not just be called straight up Metal Cooler, because then obviously when the physical LR Metal Cooler gets his Easy A, we want them to, you know, gel well together on a team, and not have the exact same name. But I mean, we could see it be a standalone Metal Cooler. Obviously, Wicked Bloodline hasn't had any updates in a while in terms of a leader skill, but Metal Cooler is on Artificial Life Forms, Terrifying Conquerors, obviously Target Goku and Revenge, and Corroded Body and Mind. All the categories that Baby and Metal Cooler are both on. So either one of them would obviously be very good for a lead for potentially combining a bunch of these different categories. I mean, they could, interestingly, well, like the way they did the free-to-play clones. Imagine if they did a Dokkan Fest Metal Cooler and then they gave them 2 banner units that were both just Metal Cooler clones, but given the slightly different name, like with the free-to-play units where they just have like the typing as part of their name. Because obviously we do have the free-to-play versions of that, right? We have the full free-to-play Metal Cooler team. So it'd be kind of interesting to see like banner unit versions of that. But I think there are a lot less options for like the banner units and the way the unit would be designed, other than just being a straight up Metal Cooler. When it comes to Metal Cooler over Baby, I've always thought like a great part 2 LR for a Dokkan Fest Baby would be like just the crowd of like Tuffle possessed. I could be all the Tuffle possessed Saiyans. Bulma could be there as well, I guess, with a similar kind of art to like the original Friend Summon like LR androids, where it's just like dark and lightning and like a city in the background. But you imagine the animated LR art could be like, when the screen is dark, it's just like the red eyes of the crowd everywhere, and then when the lightning flashes, you can see that it's like a crowd of Tuffle possessed Earthlings and everyone, which I guess they'd be on Earthling. Oh no, they'd be on Earthbred Fighter. I don't know, it'd be weird. That's the problem, is that kind of unit would never have like great categories. But banner unit Tuffle possessed Saiyans I think would be pretty good if they give Baby the right leader skill to incorporate them onto the team, and then they could easily be a unit that's just giving like massive support to Terrifying Conquerors or Corroded Body and Mind, which obviously would incorporate Baby and their whole set of units, as well as some other decent units to enable them to be splashed onto other extreme teams. So I definitely think that Dokkan Fest Baby is probably the best option for this hint, but obviously do let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I do think it is pretty much down to just being Metal Cooler or Baby. I'm trying to think who else it could even realistically be, because we saw a couple of other like replies in this thread of characters that weren't Baby or Metal Cooler, but for me personally, I don't really see the connection between them and the, I mean, this one is funny, right, from that advert with like the Freezer Force, but I'm not sure coming off the back of this other category. I mean, we did get the new Infinite Dragon Ball History stage that was the new Freezer army, but even so, I don't really feel like this is really relevant to like Freezer. So I think this is going to be the Tuffle possessed Saiyans, or just Tuffle possessed Earthlings in general, hinting towards a Dokkan Fest Baby, with the secondary choice being Metal Cooler. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Which one would you prefer to see out of those two? Would you be summoning for them? Let me know all of your thoughts. Once we get a bit more idea on who it's going to be, or we get some kind of confirmation, then we can start doing the fun discussion videos, like who will get easy A's, like what will the banner units be, all that kind of stuff. So I think that could be a lot of interesting stuff upcoming, and hopefully we'll get some more news in the next few days. So let me know all of your thoughts on this stuff down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.